Hi everybody, today I am very excited to review this underbust corset made by Bizarre Design. And Bizarre Design is based in the Netherlands, and he's a very well known and very well respected designer within the corset community. He's made corsets for the likes of Kathy Young, who's the Guinness World Record holder for the smallest waist on a living person. And his silhouette and his construction is immediately recognizable. So even though I had ordered a relatively simple underbust from him, as this was what I could afford, I am really excited to have one of his pieces in my collection. So let's get on with the review. So here's the front, the side, the back, and the other side. This is a standard size corset, but it fits me almost as if it were made to measure. And actually, even though I have a long torso, this fits me so well, and it's actually a tiny bit on the long side for me. The center front length here is 14 inches. At the princess seam, it's 11.5 inches. On the side seam, it is 12.5 inches. And then in the center back here, it is 13 inches. So if you have a longer torso and you're looking for a fairly long standard size corset, you might actually like Bizarre Design's work. Today I'm wearing the standard size D36. So if I look at my notes here, that means that the closed waist is 57 centimeters, which is about 22.5 inches. The rib cage is designed to be 72 centimeters, which is about 28 inches. And the lower hip fits 93 centimeters, which is about 36.5 inches. But even though my rib cage was a little bit bigger than the standard size and my hips were a little bit smaller, you can see that it all just fits me beautifully. It fits me like a glove. And I think one of the reasons that this fits me so well is because it is a single layer corset. The material that's made out of, which I'll show you later on, is a spot brooch. It's a very strong German corset brooch. So it is very strong, but it also has some flexibility to it. So perhaps that's why it is cupping around my curves so smoothly and so well. So let me show you the details of this corset on the table. So here's the Bizarre Design corset laid flat, and for the materials, it's just a single layer corset, and it's just one layer of very good quality German spot brooch here. And for the boning channels, they're laid down on the outside, and these are made from black satin couture. And the label is underneath the Modesty panel, very close to the Grommets here in the back, and that's all it says, Bizarre Design Amsterdam. This corset has a 5-panel pattern, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that kind of goes to show that you don't need a billion panel pieces to make a corset that fits really beautifully and comfortably. And for the construction of this, the panels were assembled together, and it seems to be a lock stitch. There's no top stitch here. It's very smooth on the inside. So all the panels were assembled, and then boning channels were laid down on top of the seams here. So the boning channels, they not only obviously provide a place for the bones to go, but it also helps strengthen each seam here because it's straddling the seam on either side. As you can see here, there's no waist tape in this corset. When I wear the corset, it does expand a bit, like about ½ an inch or so, but I was surprised that it wasn't more than that. It seems that some corset makers like Bizarre Design and also Contour Corsets and a couple of others, they find that their technique in corset making is such that it renders the waist tape a bit superfluous. So they don't need the waist tape to make a strong and well-shaped corset, which I found interesting. For most of my corsets, I prefer to have a waist tape in it, even if it's just a psychological comfort that I know that it's reinforced at the area of highest tension. But this corset is holding up very well without one. And the binding is made from bias strips of matching black satin. It's the same satin as the boning channels here. And you can see that there's a tidy double stitch here. So I'm curious to know if he used a double needle machine to do this, but it's very tidy, it's very neatly done. My corset came with a Modesty panel in the back, which is 3 3/4 inches wide, and it is suspended on the laces here with these little loops and finished in this black satin couture. It's also stiffened. It has 6 ½ inch wide bones in here running lengthwise, very smooth and comfortable on my body. And additionally, there is a Modesty placket in the front by the Busk here. This is also finished in black satin couture, and this has a bone inside of it. The bone is fairly heavy duty and about 3/4 of an inch wide here. The busk in this corset is 13 inches long and it has 6 loops and pins, and the last 2 are a little bit closer together here. It's half an inch wide on each side, so this is actually a standard flexible busk that I can tell on this side, but because of the heavy duty bone that I had upgraded here, it helps to keep the front fairly stiff so that it doesn't bow when it's worn. And there's 21 bones in this corset, 10 on each side, plus the bone right here in the Modesty placket. So double bone on the seams here, you can see 2, 4, 6, 8. These are a flexible steel. And as I understand, Bizarre Design does not actually use the spiral steel boning that we're used to, but it's actually more of a flexible wire. And then he treats and dips them himself. So this creates a very flexible boning here, but you can also see that they can also be pre-shaped. So over the hip here, between panels 3 and 4, you can see that it was pre-bent to give a certain silhouette when it's on the body. And in the back here, there's also flexible narrow steels. This makes the back very flexible, but with the Modesty panel in the back, it helps give it a little bit more stiffness if you need that support. When I was first lacing this up, I found because the back was so flexible, it did bow a little bit, but because the back has this chevron lacing and because the grommets are so close together in the back, I found that that bowing was very quickly corrected once I was able to tie it pretty much closed in the back. But if anybody has lordosis or a protruding bum and they need that extra flexibility in the back, this would be a great choice. And here's a close-up of the grommets. There are a total of 32 of them, 16 on each side. They're set equidistantly apart, but fairly close together, about 3/4 of an inch apart. And they're size 00 with a medium flash around them. They're holding in very nicely. And moving the Modesty panel aside, on the underside there are big washers. The washers are significantly bigger than the tops of the grommets here, and they're all holding in very well as well. There are a few splits in the grommets, but they don't catch on the laces. And the laces are this 1/4 inch wide black flat nylon lacing, which is quite low profile. It glides well through the grommets, but it does have enough friction that helps to prevent some of the bowing due to the very flexible steels in the back here. You can see that it's laced with the chevron lacing and also inverted bunny ears, inverted pull loops, which helps to give more control at the waistline here. An underbust corset like this from Bizarre Design would start at 251 euros, which converts to about $265 in the US right now, and that is for a standard size single layer regular corset material like you see here. I paid for an upgrade for a heavy duty busk in the front, so with shipping and everything included, mine came to about $317. Now if you want to splurge for a bespoke or made to measure corset, this starts at 341 euros, which converts to about $360 in the US. And this concludes my review of this underbust corset made by Bizarre Design. I hope you enjoyed it and you learned something new. If you did, please remember to click that like button down there and help support the channel. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'd be happy to get back to you. And if you have your own corset by Bizarre Design, let me know how you like it in the comment down below as well. And I will see you all next time for another video. Bye!